you from Scratchin Wolf Studio. This is the latest episode of Rage Across the Internet, your very favorite World of the Apocalypse podcast. Sitting to my left, we have producer Danwell Tyston.
Hey, everyone.
And across from me, as usual, Tommy Dixon.
What's up, guys?
So, here we are.
I gotta put that together.
You did that, I just pictured the Freddy guy.
Oh no.
I know.
This is a day of ridiculousness.
Just a little bit.
Here in Scratchin Wolf Studios.
Yes. Yes, it is. Ridiculous. Not ridiculousness. It's just ridiculous.
Why can't it be ridiculousness?
Fine. Have whatever you want, dude.
Look, we are festooned in ridiculosity. And that's the thing that matters.
We just hit so many different types of words.
Are they words, though? Yeah, we are just getting started for that. So this episode will get way better or worse. I don't know. It's crazy.
We'll find out.
How are we doing today?
Oh, doing all right. It's recording day.
Gorgeous day outside.
We're inside.
Yeah, well, we can
whatever.
see outside.
Yeah, that's true.
There are windows.
I can see the dead trees, yes.
All right. Had a nice lunch, thanks to a little not sponsored Coney.
It's been a while.
One that we talked about a lot on the Discord. And it spawned us getting Coney.
You want some Coney, man.
I feel better after that lunch, dude.
Anyway.
Gross.
Oh, boy.
Right?
Morning, everyone.
Or afternoon.
Or evening, wherever you're from, and what time you're listening to this.
I suspect it's morning, though, so what an unfortunate way to start the day.
So
Listening
we're here.
to us.
And yeah.
Well,
And then listening to Dan.
yeah, making
Oh my god. This is ridiculous.
This is hilarious.
we got nothing.
All right. So we're here to talk about our podcast one.
We're here to talk about our... Oh, my God.
We're here to talk on a podcast.
That's it. That's the show.
That's it? Wrap it up?
We're going to talk about the podcast.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding. Now, you know what I'd like to talk about, though? Is that weirdo that delivered our food.
Hopefully he's not listening.
Oh, I'm sure. So check this out, guys. We're here at the studio. We get an episode, under our belt. We're like, hey, do some other, behind the scenes work on shit. And it's like, let's get some lunch. So we order up, a little DoorDash. The guy comes. He shows up and peeks his head in. He looks at me. He goes, "Hey, are you the band?"
Oh, no, you missed the best part of this.
What's the best part? What's the best part of this?
Well, almost best part, but still. He gives us the food. We close the door.
Yes. Oh my God, you're right.
Yes,
that happened first.
That happened first.
That happened first.
So
yeah.
he handed us the food, and in the corner of his eye, he sees the podcast set up.
Yeah,
but
he sees
we
the
close the
microphones.
door. He knocks on the door and hands us a straw.
We didn't order drinks.
And then he goes, "Are you guys in a band?"
It's so odd. I'm just like, what the fuck is
the
going?
straw is the best part.
No,
I'm
you're right. You're right. The straw is the best part. We didn't even get it.
Yeah, like got it in his pocket in case he sees a podcast.
In case of emergency, and you need to talk about some microphones.
You have to get an emergency straw. I look at him like, no. Like, what? And I'm starting to close the door.
He's like slowly
Like,
trying
I'm
to close the door to get him to
slowly
get
inching this door closed.
Like, please take the hint now. Please take the hint now.
He goes, Are you a producer? And then you hear Danny off in the corner. It was me.
He is off in the corner too. Like the guy can't see him. He's like, "Nope, that's me."
Because I'm a music producer. And I'm like, dude, I got it.
Closed door.
Surprised he didn't show up at the window.
Right. And just start peeking in on us.
Oh my God.
Boy. I like this though. This segue. You tell a story. We're doing an episode on storytelling.
Oh, shit.
Is that how we're doing it?
Well,
You know what? Apparently it is now.
All right, fine.
That's good.
yeah.
Hey, good call.
Well, I mean, he told a good story, so.
That was the
Well, it was a joint effort story. So.
It was
Yeah, but
funny
it
as
fucking
shit.
happened. Like, oh
Yeah.
my God, that guy.
I say it's pretty fresh. It just happened.
Wait, did you say he was fresh?
No, the
Oh.
story.
Okay.
Really?
Just making sure he wasn't fresh. I didn't
Oh,
see him, so
my
I don't know.
It doesn't
This is
matter.
weird.
It's just very weird.
I forgot about this.
The straw made it, dude.
Yeah.
The straw
I was so
made
like,
it.
why did you give me a straw?
You even looked at it. And
Yeah, I
like,
did.
what?
I looked at it like, why am I holding this?
Hey, why that door's open again? I see you got some stuff set up there.
Can I come in? Fucking no.
Leave, please. So we're here to talk about storytelling.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, we haven't done one of these in a while.
No, yeah, time for another storyteller episode. So we should do that
Yeah.
before all of this is for nothing and we have to restart the episode.
They love listening to garbage. It's fine.
Shit.
wouldn't be
you guys
surprised.
are tuning in, so we thank you for that.
No shit.
Yeah. Without you guys, we wouldn't keep doing it, so hey.
No, it's a great time to say, thank you to all of our listeners, of course, our patrons.
Mm-hmm.
And it's true. You're the reason we're doing this. I mean, we're just being assholes having fun. We could do that without the microphones, though.
It's true.
Right.
We do it constantly. Like,
Yeah, this is
we were
just
here
what-
for 3 hours prior to the first episode just bullshitting.
It's true.
But no, seriously, thank you guys for supporting us. Thank you, patrons. This soundboard is awesome.
Right. It's kicking ass.
Yeah. This is so much better than what we had.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, if you want to support us, a lot of ways to do that. Danny, what's a way? Tell us a way.
Well, Patreon. These Patreon rewards, because we like giving back. We show our thanks for you showing your thanks.
For us thanking you to begin with.
There's a lot
Yeah.
of thanks in there.
It's just a big thank circle jerk.
Yes.
And then there are prizes.
Hey,
Prizes
there's a
for
prize
the-
at the end. Oh, God, we're
We
so bad.
We got our monthly hangout, sitting there in Discord watching shitty movies. And afterward, we... How many times after the movie are we just sitting there bullshitting with everybody?
No, it's regular. Yeah.
It's
Unless you're like me and you pass out because you drank too much. Thanks, Stu.
Yeah, occasionally, someone, and I don't even want to point fingers.
No, it's... Well,
But someone,
It's always Tom.
it's almost never Tom.
That was my first time there.
Will present some drinking game rules, which are thoroughly optional. I want to say that.
Yes, it's not...
Right now.
Yeah, it's... Yeah, optional.
I wish I knew they were optional when I joined in. I was already 2 tall boys in before the drinking game started.
That was your first mistake.
Mm-hmm.
But we have that, and then we have the NPC of the Month Club for the 25 tier. But yeah, that is a great way to show support, which we of course appreciate.
Absolutely.
It's because of our awesome patrons that we're able to do things like replace a soundboard on the fly or replace some jank ass broken headphones. Danny,
Sorry.
it's on the list.
Yeah, I know.
It's next thing.
Whatever.
Tom.
They're working.
Tom, how else do we support the? How else could the folks at home support the podcast?
Give us a thumbs up on our Facebook posts. You can go retweet our Twitter posts. You can give us 5 stars.
5 stars. That's the jam right there.
That is the
and
jam.
Look,
That
at
is
we
what
don't
gets
know
us
why the
out
5
there.
stars is a big deal, but it's a big deal. Like, it's the algorithms and shit, whatever.
Yeah, it's Weaver stuff. Says
Yeah.
5 stars or nothing. They don't care about anything else.
Yeah, it's so weird. We don't know why, but please, the 5 stars is a big deal. It's the business end. It's not trying to stroke our egos here.
You had to say stroke.
Well,
Another big way, though, is word of mouth.
yes. And it's weird that we
that
use
helps.
stroke and mouth together. So
No, you're making that correlation right now. Reel it in, guys.
I don't know about all this.
This will be fun. But word of mouth.
No, that
That
that's
is the
huge, too.
biggest one. I mean, tell everybody.
Yeah.
If you got someone interested in werewolf, tell them.
Yep.
Come our way. Come to our Discord.
Yeah, hang out with us there. There's
Constant.
almost always something going on.
Yes.
Constant chatter all the time.
Like, we built a really awesome community on that Discord.
Yeah, we're super proud of that.
Absolutely.
A lot of
There's
awesome guys and girls in there.
constant, discussions, whether it's werewolf or not, pop culture, whatever. Always hit the new members with the inaugural questions. And then, hey, look, sometimes there's an occasional meme or GIF war. And as soon as I say it, it's usually Tom who throws one random in there.
Can't help it.
And it starts.
Yeah, we got
get
a lot
into
of
fun.
stories going on in there, too, right now.
It's
Big
spread.
thanks to our storytellers.
Yes.
So, if you're looking for a game, come join the Discord. I'm sure one of these guys.
I'm sure somebody.
Yeah.
How did I get to that Discord?
Well, that's the website.
Which is rageacrosstheinternet.com.
No, not following that one.
Producer said no.
I'm not following you on that one. Yeah. Hit that website. Hit the forums. Yeah. News and announcements. It's right there. There's the link to the Discord.
That is as easy as we will ever make it for people.
Yeah. It's...
We don't want you to gloss over there's a lot of cool stuff in that forum.
Exactly.
And that's why we're keeping it there.
Yep.
That link will stay there because we want you to see the rest of the forums too. There's a lot of cool stuff there. Check it out.
Everything from, I think Ghost Paw's got a couple book reviews up there. I know he's got at least the one. I think the second one's really close.
Okay, awesome.
We've got questions, obviously, people ask. We've got files from some of the old Nocturnus.net days. And if you don't know what that is, well, you'll be in for a treat if you go take a look. Character essays, thoughts on fetish creation, on dealing with spirits. You have A Blanket of Anger, which is a short character essay that, these guys know, but it's definitely worth a read.
Oh, that was so cool.
That was a good one.
And hey, the old White Wolf news ticker that was on the site before the apocalypse hit. I happen to have saved those files. They're there on the site.
Yeah, I forgot about that one. I forget that one often, and it's so weird to see.
Yeah, it's a neat little look into the events surrounding the end of the original World of Darkness.
Right.
Which is nowhere else. So, exclusive content that is not ours, but is otherwise lost to time.
Right.
So, yeah, make sure you check it out.
Yeah, take a look. Like I said, in that Discord, that's the big one. Come hang out with us.
Yeah, we'd love to see you.
Yeah, new members are always welcome.
But hey, let's get back to it. What do you say?
Yeah, I think
enough screwing around?
Yeah, our jackassery is...
it's
about time to stop here.
He's hit the limit on our jackassery.
Well, I think we were...
Yeah, we were pushing it.
We were going to push it there. So, yeah, let's get to it. We're doing Storyteller. We're talking about various aspects of put together a story. So, really, where do we want to start?
I think the big one is going to be setting.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, everyone's got their character creations, and maybe leave that for the players. That's their job. The players have their characters to worry about. As a storyteller...
Oh, as a storyteller, everything is your problem.
Right, but maybe start with the setting. Give them an idea of where their story is going to be.
Well, absolutely. And I mean, that's something that should be discussed probably before the characters are created.
Okay.
If it's going to be relevant to those characters. This is to say, okay, if you are running a game set out of the Scepter of the Great, well, they're going to need to know that if your intention is for them to begin at the Scepter of the Great and stay at the Scepter of the Great. And they're going to need to know the era.
Right.
Obviously.
Yeah, what time it is definitely a big factor.
But then you have situations like we can go back to Into the Breach, the first stories you guys ran.
Correct.
Is you all came from different parts of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Ironically, not so much. You didn't even get out of the time zone. But you chose places, and, you were brought to a location. And that could be a little different because at that point, no matter where you guys came, I brought you to where I needed you. But that is important. And the thing is you got to make sure you want that cairn or that sept to get that thing fleshed out.
So that's the most important to you then?
Well, I mean, you started with most important and then handed that to me. I don't know about most important. I think most important is to make sure your NPCs are down.
Okay.
But we'll stick on location for the minute.
That's fair.
You need to know. I mean, you obviously need to know where you are.
Right.
You need to know what's that sept called. What is this cairn? Who is here?
Yeah. Who's running
Why
it?
is
Who's
it
your
here?
elder?
What's its purpose?
Yeah. What's the layout?
What's going to be your job there, essentially, because this is your home.
Exactly.
And that needs to be fully fleshed. I mean, if you want someone to call it home and be, a part of that, like they want to be home. Mm-hmm. Make sure it's fleshed out enough that they can call it home.
And that's the thing. Yeah, you need to make it feel like home, one way or another. If you intend for that to be your character's home, you have to sell that way, and not just go, "This is where you belong" because I said so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of boring.
Well, of course, yeah. You can ring the bell. You got to do better.
Right.
And if it's a location you don't know, and I recommend. I think I've said it before. I'll say it again. I feel strongly you should not be running stories set in the place that you live.
It'll take characters out of the game.
Yes, because any artistic license you take with the geography, your other players will catch on, and it'll remove them. Mm-hmm. You know, it'll take that immersion right away. It's not even like they're choosing to break character and point out that, you know, this model road does not go that far. It's that they know it and they can't help but know that, and it just pulls them out. It's not even their fault.
No, I see.
If they bring it up, it is, but
right, and if they don't say it out loud, they're thinking it.
Yep. So you already broke immersion. Mm-hmm. What I recommend. So I recommend somewhere that you aren't. This way you have that freedom, even if you rip off a real place.
Yeah, I'm sure that happens too.
You know, like I could rip off downtown, but say this is in Cleveland. You'll fucking know.
No, I wouldn't know.
In fact, I could even go, it's very similar to. I wouldn't, because that's also taking you out of the game. Mm-hmm. But, you know, you could describe it just as it is and go, yeah, you're in Cleveland. Prove it. That'll work.
Because we're not in Cleveland.
Exactly. You don't know Cleveland.
Nope.
Maybe you've been through it twice.
You set us down in the guilty and down in New Orleans.
Yep.
None of us have been there. You had.
Yes,
so you were able to actually reference it. And then when I went and visited, yeah, you referenced it really well.
Well, and I'll tell you something else that I was about to bring this up. Something else I did was I went straight to Google Earth.
So you got live. Like
I went Street View.
You went Street View and went down the streets to make sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You know,
so that's ringing the bell for a storyteller right there. That was above and beyond.
Well, thank you. You know, I want to make sure I remember how the field was. You know, I can do that part. But I wanted to make sure the geography was correct. You know, when I talked about the Technicolor houses on top of each other, that's a detail I had missed. I found that from Google Earth. I didn't grab that from my memory.
Oh, wow. Well, I pinged it because you told it.
Right, yeah, because it was already in my mind.
Yeah, when I went to visit it, it was right on the money.
So, yeah, Google Earth.
And when you went to visit, that was how long after that chronicle?
About a year, yeah.
It stuck out to you that much that you remembered.
Chronicle, yes.
Yeah, it was a big chronicle, but also thank you.
Yeah.
And, you know, it says something.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of my point, bringing that up.
I spent one of my days down there, I spent looking for the hotel.
And ironically, we found out after the fact.
It got renamed.
Yeah, that it got renamed since I had been there last.
That's a bummer.
Because I was like, dude, I'm standing here, but I don't see it.
And I'm describing the fountain, I think. And I'm like, no, you're in front of it.
Yeah, I was snapping photos and sending them to him. He's like, you're standing in front of it. I'm like, well, it's not called that anymore. Well, and I was like, crap, I ate there yesterday.
That's awesome.
Right?
That's awesome.
So setting is extremely important.
Yeah, and again, that's, take that extra effort. If you haven't been, so you don't have to fine tooth comb. You don't have to have all the street names correct. That's the minor shit that doesn't matter.
Just enough detail to paint the picture.
Right. Grab a quick map for the larger scale. Little known fact. And we kind of mentioned the guilty again. Not too bad. Sorry.
Well, by this time, the patrons who are on that level,
they're at least
they're getting that location chapter. Now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. This week the Scepter of the Scratchin Wolf, not the studio of but the set.
Yep.
is in Delacroix, but originally it was out the outskirts of New Orleans proper.
Okay.
And as I was developing the Riverfront sept, and I'm like, well, this should be further out, and I knew that, Well, you can say New Orleans, it's close enough, but it really should be further out.
Right.
So, no, we'll put it in Delacroix. Because Bob Dylan.
I like the reasoning behind that.
Frankly, that's why I chose Delacroix.
Okay.
It fit the bill for what I needed, and also I was listening to Blood on the Tracks.
Nice.
So,
hey, whatever works,
a little Tangled Up in Blue reference, there you go.
Hey, if that's what helps you get in that mindset, though,
yeah,
it's a hell of an inspiration.
Yeah, music is, I think, the absolute best you can go for inspiration.
Which, again, as a storyteller episode, I think that's a good idea to bring stuff like that up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's, bottom line, there is a song for everything. Music has existed long enough.
Yes, it has.
That there is a song for just about every situation, every emotion you could go through, every setting, and sometimes not only not quite as intended. That you can interpret it a different way, and sometimes intentionally allow yourself to interpret it that way. To help, recharge those batteries or those creative batteries, or you get yourself in a mindset that normally you wouldn't. I look to there's a song by a band called The Thermals. I've made you listen to this, Danny.
Yes.
I don't know about you, Tom, but I know I've made you listen to it. Called An Ear for Baby.
Well,
I'm remembering
that's a title.
And what the song is about does not matter. All right. Because there's a way to listen to this song.
Yep, I'm remembering now.
That it's about whiplash, giving the business to a new group of cubs.
I don't remember that. I don't think you showed me the song.
All right.
And that's clearly not what the song's about.
No, of course it's not. Like, who the fuck is Whiplash and what, you know what I mean? But
give them the business.
Like, lose your intentions, lose your common sense. It's time to groom you for judgment. Strip to a numbness stare, strip to your underwear. It's time for you to be cleansed. Keep your eyes straight, for God's sake. Remember, we're your friends.
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, those are just lyrics. I'm reading those lyrics.
Whiplash.
Right. Those are just lyrics from the song, and obviously I'm not singing them there. But, you know.
Yeah, do you really need to? It's
right.
No, I don't.
So if we're sticking to the setting now, and you're using stuff like music as inspiration, what other kinds of things could you focus on to make sure this is sticking to those players? We're talking about the sept, right? Talking about the cairn, what it looks like, time. What other kinds of things could you do to help, as a storyteller, bring that life to a character?
Well, I think, to a character?
To a player. Both.
He meant player, because I could see he's probably trying to segue this into the NPCs.
A little bit.
Is that what's happening?
Yeah, kind of.
So is that what I should do?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
That's where I was going to go to.
Okay.
He beat me to the punch.
All right. Well, first of all, descriptions are important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the devil's in the details, but also you need to know when to stop. Which
of those details are important and which are not?
Right. And what those details say about someone. If I'm describing someone, who's got the button-up front shirt, I'm not counting the fucking buttons. Unless it's buttoned up wrong. Oh,
okay. And is that done on purpose?
Well, probably. If I'm probably not.
Okay.
It's a character. We make a character here. I just invented it. Mm-hmm. Probably not. I'm probably doing that to show that this guy's kind of a slob or maybe an idiot.
Or he just got up and was very disheveled. Like he got rushed awake.
Could be possible.
Yeah.
But I think at that point he'd be putting the shirt on as he came down.
That's true. Yeah.
To have some guy with a button-up shirt and it's buttoned wrong. I want to show that he's either he's messy or he's an idiot. Maybe both. Or shirts backwards. This guy's what's wrong with him?
Inside out. Yeah.
Right.
That makes sense because what's the purpose of having the number of buttons in a description unless it's
somewhat relevant to something?
Exactly.
And why would that ever be relevant to something? Right. But again, I just get done saying the devil's in the details. Well, there's such a thing as too much. Okay. You want to give room for a little bit of interpretation on the part of the player, but to hit the high notes on it. You want to, you talk about Sage Windover Mountain, and you talk about how he's bald. He shaves his head bald. You talk about the rich brown eyes, and how they're kind eyes. Mm-hmm. They're not that hardened killer's eyes that you would expect from a Garu of someone at that station. You throw in a little extra thing, like, he's got a little birdish nose, for example. A little thin, little creepy nose. Or you mentioned that it looks like it's been broken half a dozen times, and that informs the character too.
Yeah, and he's a fighter.
And it's what he's wearing important right then. If you have like an iconic vision of the character in mind, sure. Mm-hmm. But people change their shirts. They change Hopefully people change their clothes. I've been inside for a while because of COVID. I work from home.
I don't know. You see me wearing the same stuff every time I come over.
I do. So I don't know that you change clothes, but I believe you do.
We can hope.
We can hope. But you know what I mean? That shit changes from time to time. So if you have an iconic look, cool. But, the color of the shoelaces is only relevant
If the shoes are relevant to you explaining the details.
Right, unless it speaks to the person's character.
Like one we know that always wears combat boots.
Uh-huh.
That spoke about that character, because that's their style.
Yeah, like you can distill that style into at least assumed character traits.
Right.
You know, and you want to give... You don't have to go over every single scar. Just say he's riddled with scars, and if there's one in particular you want them to focus on, or you feel... Mention the one. Maybe mention the two. But don't make a meal out of it.
Yeah, maybe if you're going to make them and describe those, describe like their shape. That way they can get an idea of how they got that scar.
Well, see, I don't... And again,
Is that too
maybe
far?
just one. Yeah, well, there is such a thing as too much description.
This is also the beginning introduction. Say further on, you get to know them more, then yeah, you can get in-depth detail if you wanted to. But is the initial introduction.
And if the guy's wearing a t-shirt, how the fuck do you know what the scar on his chest looks like? But you can point that out later as a character-building moment, or perhaps to try to fish a response out of a player. But there is such a thing as over-explaining. You know, you look at, and I'm going to go back to Cairns for a second. You look at something like the Sept of the Sweet Summer Rain. And I provided you guys with a map.
Yeah.
And it was a map I did in Photoshop X amount of years ago. It might as well have been in Paint, but, you know, it also...
Still enough, though.
It's enough info on it, though.
Right, and I mean, I also took the trouble of changing the color of, like, the brown for the elevation changes, you know, to show that kind of thing. Whether that stuck immediately or not. But, you know, there that page was. You know, I don't have to explain how many feet that little bridge was. I have to explain how long that goes. You can just...
Yeah, visualize it.
You feel it out. You visualize it, yeah.
There's enough... Yes, it obviously was an older picture, but it was enough detail in the picture for us to get that feeling of the Sept and the cairn.
Now, imagine if I explained all of that.
Oh, I'd be bored.
Exactly, that's my point.
Yeah.
There's a point to where when people will fade out. They will tune the fuck out. I played a D&D game years ago. You know, I have played other games, guys.
Shocker.
Not a lot of them, because you know, I want to cheat on Werewolf. But
You got to start somewhere.
I started with Werewolf.
Oh, really?
You dabble, you see other people for a while, and, you know, you go back to what works for you. But I played, you know, and the guy was knowledgeable in D&D, you know, and we've talked about my problem with D&D before, with you know, so there wasn't any, you know, no fucking context for anything. But he would explain something very well, very detailed. You know, the finish of, like, the countertop of the dungeon or whatever, and here's the torches on the wall, and he'd go into fine detail about how the wood smelt from the torches burned, and then by the time he got done talking, you forgot the shit he said to begin with. Unfortunately, during that beginning part was like the trick to find the secret door or whatever. You know?
Oh, yeah.
So too much detail,
yes, can be a problem.
Is only going to take you out of it.
After a certain point. So give your players room to fill in some of those blanks. Hit the high notes. And it'd be detailed with those high notes, but just the high notes, you know?
Oh, I get it.
And then that gives you room for future growth. They can then start, you know, obviously talking to these NPCs and finding out more about them, more about their styles and
Certainly.
scars and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's character growth.
And that's what helps build the home Sept as well.
Absolutely, because you need that cast of characters. You know, you can't have a Sept without Garu. That's what a Sept is. You know, Sept is a group of Garu living together.
Yep.
Usually in a cairn.
Yes.
So you can't... There have to be people. So make them count.
Yeah, and don't interchange them. I think that's such a big deal. It's not pushed upon enough.
Yeah, you shouldn't be able to... A Dead Man Dempsey story and a Jude story shouldn't look anywhere near each other.
No.
A Dead Man Dempsey story and a Whiplash story shouldn't be the same story. And they're in the same pack.
They're two
so they'd probably
different
both...
Garu.
Yeah, they're different Garu, different experiences, different, you know, they've taken different paths of their lives, different tribes, different totems, or not different totems, but different auspices. You know, they're different people. You know, they'll handle the problem differently. And it's important. Yeah, they're not. If they're interchangeable, you're doing something wrong already.
Yeah, and we have mentioned that before. Like I said, I think it's not pushed upon enough. it needs to be hammered down. If you're interchanging them like that, what is the purpose of your story other than because I want to tell
NPC
it?
cannon fodder at that point because you're not going to build a relationship with them.
Oh, that's true. And you want your players to build relationships with these characters.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you need that.
That's
to
what
happen.
makes it so it feels like home. You have that safe space. I would say.
Oh yeah. No, I'm afraid because we have some really strong relationships with some of the NPCs in our game. That one of these times, Porter's just going to pull some of them right out from underneath us.
And no one lives forever.
Yeah.
And that's my
It's a
fear.
it's a game of the apocalypse, man.
And it's going to be that
World of
much more
Darkness.
devastating.
Oh
when it
yeah,
happens.
it's going to suck. And
But see, that's awesome.
Yeah, and that makes for a better story.
Yeah, because you guys give a shit.
Yes.
So it means something.
right.
It's a big deal, and the character growth should help push your game forward.
Well, the last thing I would want is if, you played a game we played next week, and Dead Man Dempsey is killed.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm already seeing a response from you guys, which is amazing.
Yeah, like...
The thing you don't want to have happen is
I'm
which
staring
one?
at him going, why?
Is the thing you don't want to hear is, which one was that?
Yeah, that.
Oh,
yeah.
the red one's dead?
Oh, bummer.
Because Irish, not... It's red fur. Well, just get reddish fur.
No, I give it to you.
My option was the black or white one other than that. That sounds bad no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
It's Whiplash, it's Butchers, or it's Dempsey.
Mm-hmm. The bald one?
Hey,
I
now.
was referring to fur, though.
No, see, he pointed at me when he said bald.
Well, you gave that away. You could have
left that in the bag.
left that. You could have been like,
Whatever.
pointing to my luscious blonde locks.
Oh, boy.
Maybe not in that tone. I wouldn't.
Whatever, I'm bald. I don't care.
He almost said blonde. All right, so we got setting. We got NPCs. Those are two big ones.
Well, yeah, and I mean, the NPCs are so damn important.
And we also have the cairns. We did mention that, yeah.
Yep.
Setting, cairn, NPC. Those are big. And making sure you got a good initial story.
Yeah, it's just integral. It's the supporting stuff. It's the world around you. We talk. Go ahead and hand that over, please. Like we talk about thinking, Cardboard Town.
Yes.
We haven't in a while, so maybe it bears a refresher.
Yeah, I mean, season 2 deep dive.
Cardboard Town is basically what it sounds like. It's the cardboard sets at the kids' school play. It's
Stuff
that
you can just keep throwing in the same over and over again. Knock them
There's
over.
no depth to it. Not the kids, man. The set. This guy.
Oh, what a guy.
This guy.
No, that's not what happened.
He's kicking babies.
That's not what happened. Please keep going.
Only yours. You can't, not other people's.
Fine.
One is child abuse. One is just you don't respect your own property.
There's a callback.
Yeah, it's up to him. But no, Cardboard Town is that two-dimensional nothing place that you saw in Final Fantasy 1.
Oh.
That has no meaning.
Yeah, that has no meaning, and it's just here's.
You mean your starter town?
Yeah. Or any of the towns.
It's true.
Because there's no story there. There's nothing alive about it. It's just,
It's just a place to heal.
Yeah. Where you talk to the people, the inhabitants of Cardboard Town, and they say, the castle is down in the valley.
Every
the castle
single
is down in the
person says
valley.
that, yeah.
That sounds pretty boring.
The castle is down in the valley.
I see what you're doing there.
But that's the
The
point.
castle is down in the valley.
He had enough pause. I thought he wasn't going to do it again.
I know, that's why I had to do it again. But there you go. There's nothing to them. Your NPCs are not there to exposit at the players. They should be living, breathing people the way that you want your players' characters to be living, breathing people. They have shit to do in a day.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, you're going to use them as storyteller to further a story or to help build relationships for a further story.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to make them people. The purpose of Whiplash or Kasai Moonwalker or Shadowboxer or any of these NPCs that you guys are familiar with isn't to serve you.
No.
I mean, you could even do it with the kin that are there. Like, I know you've done this before. One of our kin came in and he was having a rough time at home, and you could just the way you described him and the way he was talking, you could tell he was just visibly disheveled.
Yeah.
And that puts depth to that character. Like, he cares so much about his home life, and he's still got to come to work and do his things.
And while we're on it, that was an NPC that would bring you guys coffee when you were on Bond Patrol. Or sneak like a Happy Meal your way because you were kids. And being a Garu sucks. Mm-hmm. And losing your childhood sucks.
Yep.
So if he can sneak something little like that to you guys...
To make it to help that much more?
Yeah, just to make life suck a little bit less, he'd do it.
Because he's that good of a guy.
Yeah. But you knew that.
But that's getting it out of, Cardboard Town. He's not the castle's that way.
Oh, not at all. He's like, I hope you guys like chicken. It's like, I need chicken nuggets.
You're little kids. You still like chicken nuggets, right?
As long as it's not a Happy Meal. Because I need more than just 4 pieces of chicken nugget.
But it's that gesture.
Yeah.
And it's that guy, in this case, it's, Roy.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. When there was something wrong, I described him differently than normal. And I don't describe these characters every time. I expect and I hope that those descriptions have landed with you.
Oh, yeah.
And you've built that mental image. So when I come at you and say that his shirt's wrinkled and there's a spot on his tie and,
he's sobbing.
Well, that's more of a giveaway, sir. But
okay, maybe
not sobbing. Red eyes or something.
I was going to say maybe red eye and his face, his eyes are
a little puffy.
Yeah.
He's got a couple days stubble under him, and you go, "What's wrong with Roy?"
Mm-hmm.
Because that's not how he looks normally. He's stammering or looking away from you when he talks. That's not Roy.
Right.
What's wrong? You have to be able to present that. It's no good. I mean, you could just go, "Oh, there's something weird going on with Ray. Ray's a different guy now. With Ray." Well, we've established Roy.
Okay.
So there's something, Whiplash goes, "Oh, there's something wrong with Ray. Go figure it out." That's not how you want to tell a story.
No, that's boring.
Exactly. That's the boring version of him being disheveled. Yes, that's Cardboard Town.
The castle is in the valley.
It's here's where you got to go do it. It's very linear.
Exactly. And I can't make you guys care about Roy, but I can fucking try.
And you successfully did it, because I visit that guy on the regular.
Right?
Yeah, we love Roy.
Well, now here's the thing: you got 2 chronicles in with somebody, with your players.
Mm-hmm.
You're introducing a new location that they have to be in for 5-6 chapters.
Okay.
How do you make this place feel like home for them?
Well, I don't know that I want to.
Okay.
It depends on the context of the story. For example, our previous chronicle, that we just put a stake through its heart and threw it in the ocean.
Thankfully.
Shadows and Tall Trees. You guys were sent from Jersey in the early spring, to Wyoming.
Mm-hmm.
In the mountains, like if you're in the Rockies,
Cold.
But desolate.
Oh, yeah, compared to where we were, compared to our home set.
And much, much warmer compared to your home set. You're in Wyoming.
Oh, fair.
It's a different climate.
Right. No, I get what you're saying.
And I didn't want to make you guys feel at home.
So
I wanted just go ahead.
Well, is it so you didn't put as much detail in it? Or you put enough detail in it where we wouldn't like it?
Well, that wife, you might have to tell me that. But, what I tried to do is, again, I gave you guys a map. Mm-hmm. In fact, I gave you guys 2 maps.
Yep, we did. We had the outside area and the inside area.
Yeah, there was this is inside the cairn, and then here's the cairn to scale with your surroundings. To really hit home the isolation.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something that was important. How isolated this cairn was from everything. The Garu at that sept, I described a few of them, but not everybody.
Right.
There were familiar faces there, thank fuck, and that's something you guys could lean on.
Right. But, so that's probably one way that helped, is we had a familiar
you
pack.
had a familiar pack, a pack that you knew, and that's cool. But you didn't know everyone else. In fact, the only other person you knew
had attacked us previous.
Yeah, the Danny, not previous, but a while back.
Yeah, a while back, yeah.
Yeah, the Danny fought in a story.
Yeah. Not my favorite person ever.
You were
on your hiatus, Tom.
I know.
Okay. And you were watched. and you were kind of mistrusted. I mean, you dropped a name and it changed things a bit. But I didn't want it to feel like home.
It didn't.
Yeah.
Trust me, that's not how it was. But I'm just saying, like, how do you paint it? How do you paint it enough?
So you make those details just not so welcoming?
Well, yeah, you take what's similar about home. If you want to make it feel like home, you find the things that are similar and you touch down on those. And so you focus on little things like, for example, you both had sources of water in the cairn proper. I mean, this is just a small thing, but you perhaps have these guys hanging out, a group of Garu or two, casually hanging out by this particular source of water, like, say, the lake where the Silver Star likes to hang out. And you draw those parallel visions, and, ideally you guys feel like, oh, we could probably approach these people because they, like these other Garu we know that hang out by the pond,
No, I see where you're going with it, yeah. And it makes sense for, like, a temporary, off of your normal setting kind of thing. Yeah, you don't want that to be your home, especially if it's only temporary.
Well, that depends on what you're doing with it.
Okay.
If my goal had been, for at the end of the Chronicle, for that sept to be taken, I'd have done everything in my power to make that feel like home to you guys. To make you feel the loss of the place.
Okay, I was going to say, so...
That makes a lot of sense.
Because that would just drive the story and our ambition to keep it.
Yeah, and then I'm going to break your heart at the end of it.
Yeah, I was going to say, they would just... Yeah, exactly.
I still liked the place. Like, you painted it up well.
Yeah, I didn't want to make it hostile, but I didn't want to make it home.
Yeah. Definitely didn't feel like home, but I liked it.
Oh, thank you.
So it's the fine line. You gotta skate that fine line.
And you gotta know what you want out of a place. And when I was designing the Sept of the Dancing Heaven, I was going with, again, isolation and a sense of exploration, perhaps wonderment and mystery.
You hit on all of those.
Oh, yeah, that hit. Big time. Those hit.
Yep, you hit on all of those.
And, I did, you notice, or I don't know if this had anything to do with it, so maybe I'm going to be the asshole right here. But like how there was the cave maze to get into the Sept proper.
Yeah.
That was one of the big ones, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and there were the tunnels that were dug to different, you couldn't just go to the grave of the fallen heroes or the personal shrines. It was this tunnel through here, and you wind, and what's around this corner?
Could have been a trap.
Could have been a trap. I mean, ideally not. You're going to fucking...
Right, but still.
But it could have been.
Could have been.
Who knows where these are leading? I wanted to create that sense of exploration and wonder and curiosity.
Yeah, that wonder. That was the big one with those caves.
Yeah, where, don't just... Someone will escort you. You will get lost for hours. And then eventually you started to learn the way because you spent so much time there.
Man, just remembering that story. It wasn't as bad as we thought it was.
No, it really wasn't. It was a great story.
It was an awesome story. It's just...
COVID killed it.
COVID threw the pacing off. It
we were just about to hit the... What is it? The
climax?
No, the climax is... What's the word where it's like you hit the main problem in it's like a movie? There's like a special word for it.
The bucket.
Yeah, I'm not being helpful.
No,
not
sorry.
At all.
I'm sorry.
Anyway,
but no, actually, I think this is something to shout on too, is pacing.
Okay.
Because we had this, the shadows and tall trees. It was my next Chronicle. I was very excited. I had goals.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to scare you guys.
I mean, it worked.
You did.
Yeah, I wanted to mess with your heads. I wanted to get
that worked too.
Deep horror elements. I wanted to lean in heavy spiritual elements.
Those worked.
I had goals. I had a fucking agenda. Chickens were coming home to roost. I was wrapping things up. I was opening new doors. And then this fucking virus hits.
Yeah.
And it's right where we're getting down to the nitty gritty, and he's about to really start hammering stuff at us.
Yep. They have been at this sept uncovering this mystery. There's a mystery illness. There's a mystery thing here. And are they related? Are they not? And they're starting to build the pieces together. And it's like 75% complete, and I know the next story
is going to be...
I'm going to unveil the next 25 because now you've found the problem.
We just have to figure out how to solve it.
Yeah.
And it's a big problem.
Yeah. That's not the solution. Now you understand the full gravity of your situation.
Right.
Work on the solution now.
Yep.
You know the question. Here's, figure out the answer. So you're just about to get the whole of the question. And COVID benches us for how long?
Oh, man.
It was like 8 months, almost 6 months.
At least.
Yeah, and in the course of that, we lose a player.
Yeah, we lost a player. Yeah, that's...
You know, and we lost the Thurge.
Yep. Unfortunate.
So I have to pare down. I can't remove. I have to pare down.
Yeah,
the
you almost have
spiritual
to.
elements.
You almost have to dumb it down for us. And I
don't mean that. Yeah,
but like
not dumb it down. He has to kind of spoon feed
a little bit
of that spirit portion of it that he did not want to do.
Yeah, and moreover, I couldn't go as far with it as I wanted to. Mm-hmm. So I pulled it back probably 60%.
Yeah,
which is nuts.
Yeah, and then again, you were at the precipice of figuring this out on your own, and I was so proud of you guys.
Yeah,
I never got to see them, but I know you had a text thread where you were discussing everything and theorizing about what was happening, and I was so proud of that. Too.
Oh yeah, mm-hmm. It was just us three and not Porter. So, like, I felt bad at times. Like,
I didn't.
Yeah, no, but I can't see it.
But leave Porter out of the conversation that we're all having.
But I can't help with the conversation.
Right.
And I didn't want him involved because he'd be the one sitting there with his freaking devil's advocate and throwing us off.
Yeah.
That's true, because I will play devil's advocate no matter what, or I'll say nothing, and then what fun is that for me?
Exactly.
So, but the point is you were just there, and then we have to take, the month it was, I believe, initially. Mm-hmm. You know, month or two.
Yeah, we would just to feel out the virus because it just hit. So
right, so it was the month or two or whatever it was off, and then all that momentum's gone.
Yep.
Because, hey, there's a virus that people are worried about. There's where am I working? Am I not? All the shit in life plus the extra virus shit. Mm-hmm. So we went back to game again, however many months it was later. You guys had forgotten all of those leads and all the theorizing. And I mean, before game, remember, we had to sit down and have a refresher.
We had a refresher game.
We decided, okay, we're back on game. And we decided we're not actually going to play today. We're just going to discuss and try and build that back up where we were.
Right.
We almost got it again, too.
Yeah, but it was a lot of force-feeding you the stuff that you already knew but forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that didn't build the momentum back. It just kind of jogged your memories.
So, and it was kind of a long way around it, but the pacing of that matters.
Yeah.
The pacing of everything matters. So yeah, that's another big one for storytellers.
Yeah, this is why we're talking about it. When you're planning your story, you know, have your chronicle planned out. You know, I start with like a skeleton, something usually as simple as, you know, you bring out a number of chapters you think it's going to take to tell what you want to tell. You give them a title and like a sentence synopsis of what you want to accomplish in that particular game.
Right.
And as you go, and you start to flesh those out. You know, you flesh out that skeleton. Boom, look at that. We're making people. You know.
It's that easy.
Yeah, it's all it takes. It's all it takes. It's a word processor and a skeleton.
Wow, all right.
Print screen. Now, like as you build on that idea, you know, each individual idea, and you don't even necessarily have to go in order, but know where you want things to be, know the pacing, know, okay, I want things to really ramp up here. And then I'm going to hit them with this, and then give a few stories for Fallout, and then hit them with that. And if you know that, and you start writing out, and, you know, you start small, like in a sentence or two, and then build on it here. You go to the first one, you build on it there. A little time, maybe a couple paragraphs here and there. Maybe sit down and do the full script of one. However works best for you. But go over it again in your head and look at the beats and factor in how often you meet, because that's part of it. If you're getting together every week, you know, maybe even twice a week. I know some, I miss those days.
Right.
But, you know, something like every week, you think about the pacing of something like The Guilty. That would have been way too fast. That would have been breakneck speed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
It's too much, too quick. There's no time to savor or to let something sink in.
That's exactly what I was going to say. We wouldn't be able to savor in everything you gave us. It would be it was a lot to begin with, and we were only doing it once a month.
Yeah.
Right.
I like that the patrons are getting it once a month, so they're getting it at the same pacing we had. So it's going to work out perfectly.
It really should.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, there you go. You have to factor in how often you meet.
Yeah.
Because that will affect the pacing of your game. You know, how you tell the story will affect the pacing of your game. The words you choose, the speed of which you speak. You know, I can take a step back here, and I can slow it down, and I can use my words and my pacing to build tension.
Oh, yeah, that does it.
And switch over to the Dark Horse voice.
And then slowly, I bring you in this way.
Uh-huh.
Because what's the next step? It's just around the corner. And that at the same time, when you get something...
Jesus Christ.
Sorry, Danny.
That was a little creepy.
It was good. He was drawing us both in. We're both like, okay, where are we going with it?
They were both leaning forward, too. It was awesome. But at the same time, you use that, so pacing in the games is their schedule, pacing in how you're telling the game.
Right.
Because, as you speed up, you can build a different type of tension or anxiety. If you start to speak quicker and things are happening around you, the bullets are flying, you look to your left and you see your partner bleeding out. What do? The flame or they're reloading. Fuck, just make your roll. Danny, go.
I don't have any dice.
Tom.
2 successes.
Excellent. I don't know why. We didn't. I didn't really present that situation.
Nope,
there.
but I got 2 successes on the roll.
Quick thinking.
There you go.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
But do you see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Like how you were a deer in headlights right there.
Yep, that's what it was. I was like, what do I do? What do I do?
He would have failed my rank challenge.
Yes, he would have.
Probably, yeah.
But, and just remember that there's power in that voice, in how you use your voice. And as a storyteller, that's the biggest weapon that you have.
Mm-hmm.
You look back at NPCs. Speak differently.
Have different voices for those NPCs.
Well, definitely, you want to do your best to give different voices. And look, when you're doing
or at
that...
least different mannerisms, something.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
When you're doing that kind of stuff, it doesn't matter if it's accurate.
Doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be. Because you're not trying to insult anyone and, where no one's doing caricature time. But, if your lead Fiona happens to sound like Lucky Charms because that's the best Irish accent you can do, that's fine as long as you're not making a joke about it.
Mm-hmm.
But also make sure, the players have to understand that too, because the purpose is to ensure that they know someone else is speaking and to set a precedent for how that character talks, the vernacular they use, not only what they say, how they say it.
It makes it so you don't have to sit there and go, well, this is what he said.
Right, which is...
You don't have to...
It's the boring way to tell that story.
You don't have to label it as that character. They'll know that character based on your voice.
When I speak blankly and choose to not use contractions, I believe...
Nate Bangerang.
Yeah, we knew right away.
Right. Yeah, you guys know...
That's a character.
Instantly.
Yep, instantly.
He's not trying to make fun of anybody. That's one of his characters. That is one of the NPCs in our game.
Yeah.
That is not a monotone storyteller that he once knew and he's making fun of.
No, that's poor Bangerang. He got a little weavered up.
Yep. At least he came back.
Yes.
I mean, not only that, but obviously they can't see you right now. We
bring
can.
It up.
We saw the mannerisms of just blink.
Yeah.
And
blank facial
emptiness.
expression. He
Sat up
sits straight,
drop the
proper
shoulders.
posture, and just blank facial expression.
And we knew
very
immediately.
robotic.
Meanwhile, when I'm playing a more hard-ass character like Whiplash, well, first of all, he lost an eye, so I close an eye.
Mm-hmm.
But I also...
You lean forward, you throw the shoulders up.
Throw the shoulders up, like I'm talking out of my pecs. I bring my head down there like that. Motherfuckers. Which one of you stupid pricks got in my stuff?
That's Whiplash.
Yeah. But you know what? Butchers in the Shadows isn't going to call you stupid pricks.
Nope.
He'll have different language for it. But that stuff's important.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just what they say, it's how they say it. It's your body language. And if, you're playing online, like so many people are, you don't have the benefit of the body language. So what you say and how you say it is all the more important.
Yes.
It's not an excuse to go he says, she says, he should, they say, whatever. No, it's not an excuse to lazy out like that.
Ring that bell.
Yeah.
Even if you're not good at I'm not good at voices, but I still try.
And I'll tell you what, no one at the table laughs at Tom when he tries to put on a voice that he's not good at. Because what kind of fucking asshole does that?
Well, we can laugh after.
Oh, yeah, whatever.
But as long as it's not during the game.
Right. It's respect the fact the guy is trying. Always respect the fact they're trying.
Absolutely.
Ring the bell, fucking give the credit to him, get out of Cardboard Town. Make everything just fucking real.
I love it. But, let's circle back a little bit. And we talked about, it was unfortunate, but we lost the player. We lost the player in the middle of the Chronicle.
Yeah, that sucked.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it did suck. And again, nothing tragic happened. It's just, it was just very unfortunate circumstances. But how do you continue that game? And how do you make sure that game continues and the pacing continues?
Well,
Yeah.
It really...
Well, don't use our situation, because the pacing got really jacked. Just say...
Yeah, exactly. That was
something happened, like you're in the middle of a game, something happened, and the person had to drop. Okay. How would you save it?
Well, and obviously there's a lot of moving parts to that, because what's the situation? You know, for example, if you guys are in the middle of the Amazon doing a job...
Oh, boy.
And next week, Randy... I don't know who the fuck Randy is, but that's just fucking Randy.
Randy.
Next week, Randy says I'm done, or I win the lotto, and I'm going to the moon.
Whatever.
Congratulations,
he can't play.
Yeah, Randy moved to Vegas. He hit the Mega Millions, he moved to Vegas. Well, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Randy's getting a bullet in the head next story.
More than likely. That's the quick way out.
That's the quickest way out, is that character is getting killed and or captured, and perhaps killed later, but there's a point to where you maybe don't want to string that along too much.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, look, if you're in, let's say, part 3 of, like, a 7-story arc, you know, and Randy's gone, and he's just, like, the damsel in distress for the rest of it, when he's dead at the end, you maybe don't care anymore because you already know Randy's not coming back, so this isn't a surprise. Like, the characters obviously will care, and you'll be acting the part, but wouldn't it be better if you didn't see it coming a mile away, and you just rip off that Band-Aid?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
what if there's that chance Randy's coming back?
Well, you know, and there are other options. You know, I mean, middle of a longer thing, that's kind of what you have to find a way to explain the character away. Mm-hmm. You could have other situations like the totem, you know, Randy's totem, he's a bone gnawer. Rat, he played Trashmouth. He was playing Julio.
Okay.
So,
Julio Trashmouth.
Rat summons Trashmouth to the tribal homeland. This is it, come alone.
Oh.
I need just you. There you go.
You can't argue
say no.
Yeah, you can't say no. So you go, well, we're in the middle of something, but now.
Then you go.
You go. And there's not much you can do about that.
So that's in-game.
Not super elegant, but there's not a super elegant way to do it 9 times out of 10. But
with our situation, the Thurge issue, we lost the Thurge and you had heavy Thurge aspects. So I'm just saying, as a storyteller, you lose something heavy to your story. Mm-hmm. How are you fixing that?
Okay. All right.
No, that's what I was going to let that go and then turn into this. So.
Yeah, okay. Well, I had to pick and choose, and I dropped like 4 or 5 chapters.
Oh, wow.
Flat out.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, neither did I.
There were things I wanted to do. You know, there were visuals in my head that I wanted to express in a way, you know, like the idea of your teeth being replaced by roach eggs. And here's the thing, though. I don't mean literally. But I know I'm getting looks.
Yeah, a little bit.
This is an example I had in my mind of I'm going to convey that feeling to you guys through an Umbral journey without literally doing it.
Wow.
That's how I want you to feel coming out of this particular story.
I'm kind of bummed now.
I know.
Oh.
You know, shit like that.
I mean, you had to just fully pull some chapters.
I just had to pull chapters.
Okay.
You know, I mean, we talked about when you guys met Scratch Eye, how you're not just going back.
No, that's...
I pulled 2 there. Mm-hmm. And I mean, those weren't even Umbral chapters. That was just to put the fucking chronicle out of its misery. Mm-hmm. No one was enjoying it. The pacing was gone.
I was enjoying it, but pacing was gone, yes.
Yeah.
Well, once you introed Scratch Eye, I was going to have some fun with him. I mean, it's like, this will be fun.
Yeah.
But then you pulled the chapters.
Yeah, I did, because it just seemed like the right thing to do.
It's fair. We did need to put that chronicle out of its misery.
Yeah.
Everything got ruined on it.
It sucks, because they weren't bad stories. I was proud of the story.
They were great stories.
Oh, yeah.
It just sucks that everything just kind of got...
It still had a lot of character growth, and I think us, and I don't want to be disrespectful when I say it, but I think us losing the character helped with the rest of us in the growth, because we had to pick up a lot of slack.
I think that's probably true, although I wish to shit I was able to do some of the stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I do too, don't get me wrong.
The shadows in tall trees, man.
Mm-hmm.
There's implications there.
Oh, yeah, I know.
You know, I opened, if you recall, with a shared dream between all of you.
And and you had each of our own individual little twists to it to mess with our heads.
Right?
Yep.
And you had mine and Danny's on the freaking nose.
Yep. And it pulled those characters right out of their element. Mm-hmm. It made them really uncomfortable.
The goat with nails for teeth eating the pregnant woman.
Yep. Gross.
But the visual.
But that was how I opened it.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I had some shit in the chamber.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Your buddy Vermilion was there doing his art.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Which is an example of the kind of dark shit you were going to see the whole way through.
Yep.
All right, so let's twist this. You didn't lose a character. You gain a character.
This can be fun.
Yes. How do you put a brand... So someone wants to join our group.
An already set group.
Sure. Well, there's a couple ways to go about that. Or the couple... Obviously, there's several ways to go about that, but there's a couple things first. Mm-hmm. And you have to ask yourself as a storyteller and your new player, who we will call Andy.
Okay.
Because it rhymes with the other one, and I definitely don't want to be confusing at all.
Of course not.
Thanks for listening to the podcast.
Yep.
Andy, we find out how experienced he is. If Andy is a brand new fucking player, well...
Maybe wait till the Chronicle's over.
Maybe. And that's
probably better.
Yeah. Is to go, okay.
Because you don't have time for them to babysit.
Well, what I want you to do, this is when we game, and I want you to get used to showing up.
Sit down and just listen.
And just listen. And you can have the books to read and work on your character. Also,
take notes on what's happening.
Yeah.
If you have questions. Yeah, that's
write them down and save them until an appropriate time.
Mm-hmm.
But get used to how the game is played and how it's paced and how everyone does their part, so you're not coming in blind. And then you can have time to read up on the stuff you need to read up on. And when the storyline permits it, we can bring you in. And then at this point, you have the benefit of having a little bit of on-the-job experience, if you will.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I like that.
An easier and cleaner introduction.
Right, because it's not all brand new all at once.
Right.
Now, if it's a more experienced player, first of all, and this is something, if this is a new player to your group, okay, there are tweaks. Your group is weird. Okay, let's just get that out of the way.
Yeah.
Your group's weird. So your group does something weird. I don't care what your name is. I don't care how you play, how well you know the rules. There's something creepy or weird or gross or dumb or amazing about your group that makes it individual, that makes it different than everyone else's group.
And that's not being a bad thing. That's just saying every group and every game is unique.
Yeah. And I'm going to use the word weird or creepy because, we play a game where we pretend to be goddamn werewolves. So there's a sense of normalcy here, okay? Nobody's throwing stones.
Right, yeah. And at the same time, our game is weird and creepy to you.
Oh, yeah. We're not exceptions.
Yeah. But just throwing that out there. Make sure we're all clear.
But the point here, is that, so there are things you're going to want to go over with that player to make sure everyone's on the same page. Yeah. There was a conversation in our Discord last night about the Fair Glabro merit.
What is this?
I didn't know what this merit was.
Oh, it's a merit that your Glabro form passes for human much easier. You look way better. It augments rolls in the form. But here's the thing.
Interesting.
Is it's non-specific as to how. I mean, how fair is fair?
Right.
Fairest one of all, that we're going to.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm still pondering the why.
So the storyteller in question is that guy Shano. Sean posts a picture of I think it was Benicio from the Wolfman movie.
Okay.
And he's looking down and he goes, "This is Glabro," and then he posts a picture of Jack from Wolf, who coincidentally was looking up. And he says, "Yeah." So they were staring at each other.
That's funny.
Yeah, he didn't mean to, but I'm like, "Oh, they're staring at each other."
Good job, Sean.
And it was a more human. He was mid-transformation, whatever. Mm-hmm. He's like, "This is Fair Glabro," and he's talking with Dundee, another one I remember. He's like, "Yeah, this is Fair Glabro. This is Glabro. People think this and that." And he's talking about how that Fair Glabro is a license to just being Glabro all the time. Well, here's the thing: the book doesn't say either way. It's open to interpretation. It's fucking. You could land a plane in the ambiguity of how fair Glabro is. And so to underline that point, I mentioned that make sure if you're talking to a different storyteller, that mileage might vary.
Oh, yeah.
This is how he wants it. And that's fine. But the next storyteller might feel completely different. And you are beholden to the storyteller that you are working with, not to the storyteller you used to work with. So you want to have that conversation to make sure everyone is crossing the right I's and dotting the right T's. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. Establish that beforehand because that's all important. Right? Yeah, there you go. No surprises.
And just because it's different from what you're used to doesn't make it wrong. Just if you're the stubborn player looking at that going, "Well, I don't like that Fair Glabro is," or whatever the situation might be. Just go with it. Just trust in the storyteller to do what they do the best way they know how. It'll be okay. That's just advice.
Yeah.
But, if it is to back more to the point.
I was about to say, back to... Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, if this is relevant.
I know, I'm just
relevant,
to focus back in, you're right. If it is a more established player, they want to start... I would start them on equal ground with your current group.
Right.
Of course, this is more work on the player because they have to
be written.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you've been Garu for 10 years, that's 10 years of fucking backstory or anecdotes or friends you had.
Something.
You need to know some shit. You don't need to know everything. You need to know some shit.
Like a paragraph for a year.
It would be nice.
That's what I would probably start off with.
A handful of stories.
Yep. Handful of stories of their accomplishments for those 10 years. A paragraph for each year of what they did, who they've met, if they're important to them, kind of thing.
Yeah, because you're building that character's whole life at that point.
Yeah.
And there was a neat thing, obviously. They asked what our weaknesses were. Andy came in asking what the weaknesses of the pack were. Yeah,
so maybe, Andy's building a character that will fill in one of those gaps.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to listen to an episode about filling in the gaps, which you should anyway, because that went different places, and it became a better show.
Yeah. That was a really good one.
I liked it once we were done with that issue and we just went riffing.
Shit.
I really liked how it
we're
turned
done.
out.
What do we do?
Oh no, that didn't fill a full episode.
It was close enough.
Fuck it, here's a story.
Yep.
But yeah, hopefully they will be helpful and cater towards some of those missing positions.
Mm-hmm. Well, if they're an experienced player, that's hopefully.
And with a more experienced player, you have more wiggle room to, I want to say, negotiate an entrance.
No, that's a good way to put it.
I can work you in mid-chronicle, but you got to work with me here so we can find out the best way to do that. Are you a member of a pack from a local sept? Are you guys away in a different sept and he's a member of a pack there that you haven't met yet and is the lone survivor of a thing?
Or a Strider rolling through.
Or is he a Strider, then how easy is that he just fucking shows up one day?
Right?
Yeah, that's probably the easiest one.
I'll just write a Strider.
But, at the same time, being able to wiggle that character in, your characters themselves should have that role-playing and story so they know how to react to it. Not just like, oh, sweet, a new character, let's just bring her in immediately. Let's bring Andy in immediately.
Yeah, I know what you're doing.
Okay. So it's, how would that character play that part?
Well, I can't tell you how to play a character.
And as a player now,
right,
make sure you're doing that correcely.
Yeah.
And as a storyteller, make sure they understand that. And
yeah, that's true, because you know what?
Lead them that way.
If Andy comes here and he sits down at this table, he's going to be playing. Mm-hmm. He's working on a character. Next game is going to be his first game. Your character doesn't know shit. His
at least about the pack, yes.
Right. Andy's bonar named Smashmouth is not...
Man!
Is not going to join your pack.
Randy plays Julio Trashmouth. Andy plays Smashmouth. Who's the all-star?
Oh, nice.
Love it. Love it. So just because Smash is here, right, and he's working with you for now, for whatever reason, be it Elder Mandate or random happenstance, circumstance, give it a name, lotto drawing, oops, you're handcuffed together, it's crazy. Whatever the reason. Right? Whatever that reason, that doesn't mean that he's joined your pack. Right. It doesn't mean that you're best friends. You have to invite him into your pack. Mm-hmm. You need to create an environment where he would want to join the pack. You can't just fucking assume because Danny and Tom know that next week Andy's going to be here.
Right.
Because you know what you're doing? You're going to force Andy to make a different fucking character.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
And then repeat the process all over again.
Yeah, you don't want
and then at one point, one of you is going to get pissed off that why does he keep making new characters? Because you won't invite him into the pack, you knob.
That's fair.
Yeah, no, he's right.
He's very right. Spoken like it almost happened.
Yeah, it did almost happen.
What was that, Tom? What was that, Tom?
I don't know what you're talking about. Plead the fifth.
Yeah, definitely not. It's the saga of Trash and Smash.
I love it. That's awesome. Oh, boy.
So back on the new player, and I mentioned babysitting.
Yes.
So say we have quite an experienced group. They're on the cusp of rank 3. And a new player really is interested in coming and joining.
Well, and new player, you're
brand new
Yeah.
to the game.
Yeah.
Like, brand spanking new.
Yeah. How do you get them on that same level?
That's why I'm specifying babysitting.
No,
Because
that's...
they're gonna have to really pull some weight here.
Yeah, because you got a couple options, okay? Is number one, you set them about your level. And there are two things you can do there. There's the easy way and the hard way.
Let's go with the hard way first.
Yeah, well, yeah, the hard way is the hard way for the player.
I was going to say, which one's going to gain them the most knowledge?
Because that's going to be a crash course, intensive fucking study on how to make your character, how to do it right, and to fill in that backstory.
Yeah.
And that's a lot. I don't recommend it, because it's a lot to ask for a new player.
Yeah, for a brand new player who's never done that before.
Right.
Here's a stack of books. Get to reading.
Right. It's an easy way to overwhelm somebody and make them think they can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's perfectly, you know the person. Andy can handle it, but you have intimidated Andy now, and he doesn't think he can, right?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
So I generally don't think you should do that. Make them start at the start. And I know what you're thinking. Well, what about the power imbalance?
Mm-hmm.
Will you factor that into the game? Perhaps, actually, we'll take a step back from that.
Okay.
Forget that for now. Your other option is to have them at an equal level. And this is the easy way. It's kind of a cop-out way, but now this is more on your storyteller, is you give them amnesia. It's a little trite, a little bit. But
okay, no, yeah, we've mentioned amnesia being the cop-out.
But we've done this.
We've
talked about this, how if your storyteller has a plan and can work that out, you can work in a great backstory for that character to make them just ultimately better. You look at it this way. Tom, you've credited a lot of your, lack of a better term, appreciation for Crimson Ghost due to his family history, right?
A little bit.
And how much of that did you write?
5%.
Very little.
Very little.
I'm the one who decided the Garu heritage and to explore that avenue, which wasn't something that was covered in your original backstory.
Not at all.
So it's almost the same thing, right?
Yeah.
With stuff you didn't know. Well, this guy doesn't know either at this point. It's a bit of a cliche. I know.
But I see why. I mean, you don't want for them to be like the level 1 while these guys are all level almost 99.
Yeah, there's a power imbalance, and you want the character to not feel like they're
they can't carry their weight.
Right.
Not only that, but gotta include them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that will help them from a stat perspective be able to hold their own on your guys' level. And again, now that's up to the storyteller to really don't phone in that backstory.
No, you've got to flesh that out.
And uncover things and integrate that into your overall plot lines. Now we go to the issue of making them start from rank 1. Mm-hmm. Okay. And there are things you can do with that too. You look at your second edition comic book, with Mari and Albrecht coming together for the 11 Heals the Past.
Cool comic, yeah.
But you look at something like that, where you find this cub and now you got to protect him.
Okay, and you make that character somehow.
They make him start this. Yeah, they make him that cub, and now you do run into the problem of a stat imbalance.
Yeah,
of a power imbalance.
But at that point, you can roll it because that's the story.
You can, and then what you want to do is you want to do things to make sure that character still gets moments. Maybe something as simple as you fudge maybe a killing blow.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that's going to happen a few extra times.
Yeah, Danny almost killed that spiral, so that Andy can come in and finish him and feel powerful.
Yeah. No, I know exactly where you're going with that one.
Yeah. Stuff like that. Because there are other options, like you give the guy a clave. And that, first of all, that's a lot of extra questions. Second of all, that can potentially breed a little jealousy.
Oh,
if not out of character, definitely in character.
Mm-hmm. It should be both.
Yeah. See, that's a problem. And then you run into the issue that character, that baby cub man, Ashmouth.
Oh my god.
Baby Ashmouth is going to level up and gain experience quicker.
Pack of Nars, I guess. I don't know.
Running with you guys because you're doing you level shit. Mm-hmm. So they're going to catch up somewhat quickly, theoretically.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Like they'll rank up just a little bit faster than you were.
Right. And a little bit might be to fudge to get them closer to that. And a little bit, not a lot.
Yeah.
Don't go from rank 1 to rank 3 in their first story.
Right.
These guys have earned it. Make the new player earn it too, just he earns it quicker because he's doing higher level shit. So then the problem becomes, it's easier at first for them to get those stats that you guys hard fought, but it's to make things equal. But now if you give him a fucking clave, the power balance is forever shifted because he's going to equal you guys eventually.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to have this pass you real quick.
Yep, he's going to have that huge advantage.
That puts him up on a little bit of a pedestal.
Right, which is now unfair to you guys.
Mm-hmm. It's claves for everybody.
Yeah, and now what are we doing?
You're right.
Just get the fuck out of here. Or what do? You take it away? Now you've punished that player.
Yeah, that was my next thing. It's like, or you take it away, but then they've already had...
You have taken something away from them.
You take it away from them. They've already had that cool thing. You got dessert already. Never mind.
Yeah. Did you enjoy it? Have you had a good time catching up to your friends? It's mine now.
You got just the whipped cream on top, and you didn't get to the actual dessert.
Yep,
took it away before you could.
Yep. Yeah, it's like you spoon up that whipped cream and flick it on the table and go bon appetit, dickhole.
Pretty close.
So you got to be careful with it. And so I would recommend, keep him. If you keep him young, that's fine. He'll be a little easier with the stats while he catches up, And when Ash will catch up and give him those moments.
Yeah, I think that's a bigger deal
because that's Sandy. Give her those hero moments. Let the couple guys. You didn't quite kill him, so she can.
I think that is a much better way to do it, especially for a new player into a group of experienced players.
And I really like the let them feel it out first. Let them just sit in and just see the pacing of it. I like that.
Well, and I
really do.
I recommend that no matter what, because every group again is different and weird.
Right. Even with experienced players, let them sit in and see how this group just so they can feel themselves out on how they would fit in. Yeah,
because look, it's difficult to sit in with a group of established people. Like, we've auditioned people. And, scheduling is ultimately why we haven't brought some of these people in. But can you imagine how intimidating that's got to be?
Oh, extremely
intimidating. To sit at the table with the three of us is a brand new fucking person.
Yeah, what do I do?
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Yeah, like you guys got your rhythm. You got your rhythm with me as a storyteller. I know what I expect from you. You know what I expect. Mm-hmm. So you're ready for the shit, And then there's just this extra person going who to what and why. This way they can ease into it and feel out their place in a group. They can be at ease before they play, so they're not just dropped in blind going, who are these fucking people? Oh, that's his character. That's not him. Crimson Ghost is being an asshole. Tom is not.
Right.
You sure?
Depends on the day.
Honestly, that's a coin toss. But you could certainly see.
Yeah. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, yes. But Tuesday, Thursday, sometimes Saturday.
Oi, over here.
He's talking.
You could certainly see it. Mm-hmm. Or a situation, dealing as a brand new player with a brand new character in a brand new group, and you meet Whiplash for the first time.
Oh, it's got to be extremely intimidating.
And the first thing I'm going to do is start shitting on you.
Mm-hmm. Because that's Whiplash character.
Mm-hmm. And what did you animate? One of your turds? What happened here? Or whatever. And so if a player doesn't have an idea of how the game goes, of how the NPCs are, of how people interact, they might think that's an attack on the new guy. Right. Is the new player. And not just a result of an NPC being a jerk.
We would know that that's Whiplash's character. That's
right.
What he would do. He did it to us when it happened. He would sure as shit do it to a brand new character when they came in.
Yeah. And see, you sit down and you see how these characters interact. You maybe get a better idea that, okay, the storyteller's not picking on me. Mm-hmm. Or the fact that you two aren't reacting to defend this person.
So
that's
this
a norm.
Often.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It gives them an idea.
Because we definitely wouldn't do anything about that.
Right.
Yeah, Whiplash is doing its thing.
But again,
it's just Tuesday, but they don't know that if it's their first day.
Right. So hopefully they pick it up on, like us being like the experienced pack, And if we're not reacting to it, hopefully they pick that up too, and they see that.
Well, that is hopeful, but again, that's the beauty of having them sit in once or twice before you bring them into a game, is they get a better idea of how things are, they get an idea what the norm is.
Right.
So they're not learning it on the job with all the other stressors involved with sitting with a bunch of strangers, you know?
And trying to role play.
Yeah. So.
And that's with someone of like their own sept and their cairn. How would you do that with like an antagonist?
Well, you know, thankfully you're not playing the antagonist. I mean...
The storyteller is.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
Storyteller episode, yeah.
What?
Oh my god. What?
Well, I mean, you know, so fortunately, I have full control over that shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're trying to integrate with the antagonist, and I mean, this depends on if you have something, I guess, already in the chamber.
Okay.
All right, because you could make a personal touch between that new player and the antagonist. You know, they had a history together, or you know, something that will better integrate that character into the storyline that's going on around them.
Yeah, and help the new character come into that mind space.
Right, and you know,
feel important.
Yes, is, you know, maybe that's Dad, or maybe that's the guy who killed Dad, or maybe you know
that was my partner, and then they turned bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You know, the Drake River song.
Yeah. Yes, he is.
You know.
Yep. Yes, he was.
I did shit.
Yes, he was.
You know, to Hunter's father the same way.
Yep. Jaeger.
Well, at the time he wasn't.
You're right.
Should say Luca.
He was still Luca.
Yeah, he was still Luca at the time.
These guys have a lot of
names.
names.
I know,
I've got 3 names now.
names.
3.
I said like.
I mean, it's fair. I'm on my 3rd, so.
I suppose.
But they've always... whatever. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. The point being, you know, is you can, you know, cater those antagonists if they're not in stone already.
Mm-hmm.
And even then you could introduce, all right, who's to say, all right? You know, Shadows and Tall Trees, ultimately, it was you guys against Ludzeroff. You know, the Black Spiral Dancer, Ludzeroff.
Right.
You know, ultimately.
Mm-hmm.
But lo and behold, you also ran into a recurring villain in Vermilion. Right?
Very reassuring. Yeah.
Now let's say,
buddy,
forget that, right? But let's say one of the spirals in that fallen kin town or whatever,
right?
Yeah, was the cousin to the new guy, to Ashmouth, or the former partner or whatever, and now that character you were just gonna fodder your way through, so to speak, now has some importance and can get a greater focus that maybe wasn't there before.
Yeah, has that tie-in. I like that.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
That'll rip them into the story pretty quickly.
Exactly. And it was known to you guys. The story didn't change.
Mm-hmm.
It just got personal with someone else there.
And then that builds character.
Yeah.
And that helps us build that character with them.
Mm-hmm. It helps with the rapport, with the bonding. All of a sudden, everyone's got personal stakes.
Oh, that's awesome.
I like that.
That's awesome.
You know, you can tweak. Don't be afraid to tweak a thing if you need to tweak a thing. Or add a thing you didn't think you needed. You know, the same way I had to remove a lot of shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say, the same way you should or need to remove things if not necessary.
Yeah, is things change in the story.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was...
Storytime with Porter.
Storytime with Porter.
Storytime with Porter.
Oh, now. Okay.
Oh, whoa, we're making a jingle.
Yeah. Little sparkle sounds at the end.
Oh,
like you know, like the more you know thing.
We need the kazoos.
Oh shit!
Kind of threw that idea away, didn't we?
I don't know that we did.
I don't think we threw it away. We just haven't gotten kazoos.
That'd have been amazing.
Right? Oh, opportunity missed.
We'll try and bring it back.
Kazoo Jamboree is not necessarily canceled.
It's not canceled.
It might be postponed.
Postponed. Okay.
It was rained out.
The air date hasn't been set.
All right, you guys. This has been a pretty great time, actually.
Yeah.
I dug the shit out of this.
No,
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, story time with Porter. It's that might be the episode name.
It might be we made it. We did it.
Oh, perfect.
Cut and print.
Cut and print. Yep. And we don't have Cubs Corner or anything, do we?
No, we don't. So
Guys,
that's
right in.
Yeah, that's your fault.
Right. We need questions.
We've had some good ones, but like those are saved for like the junk drawer.
That's gonna be junk drawer diaries.
Yeah.
And hey, that's a good one too, but that's got to be saved for Tale of Two Wolves 3 coming soon.
We've had a few new members hit the Discord too, like brand new to the game. I mean, guys, send us some questions.
Yeah, like it's okay, and just because we call it Cubs Quarter doesn't mean it has to be
specifically for the Cubs.
Yeah, like a baby question. It could be a real one.
Right.
That sounded. I don't know how else to do it.
There's no other way.
There really is no other way to word it, but it is what
it could be a more complicated question.
Right.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
But we tend to be saving those complicated ones for the lengthier episode.
And so, maybe we just cut the corner and we use that stuff for Junk Drawer Diaries and we use it for Tale of Two Wolves. And maybe that's just what we do now.
Well, write it in, guys. Let us know what you think.
Yeah,
if that's the
let
case,
us know about that too. Hey.
Yeah. Write in. The email is the most important one.
rageacrosspodcast@gmail.com.
Yes.
I haven't said that one in a while. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
But the reason why that's the most important is that helps us keep track of those questions.
Yeah, we don't lose them that way.
Yeah, they will not be lost. They get instantly tracked on the email.
For example, if I may, Ghost Paw, I'm 90% sure it was Ghost Paw. It's been a few weeks. Wrote in a question that we have not answered because we have not had time to look up because we had to change studios.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
We were saving that one for Junk Drawer, I thought.
Well, we're gonna then.
Yeah.
It is now. You heard it.
Yep.
Danny promised.
Yeah, you know what?
Danny promised Ghost Paw, so if it doesn't happen, you know where to go.
Ghost Paw, I got you. Don't worry.
Yeah. We didn't forget it. We
We know it's there. We're saving it for Junk Drawer.
Okay, that's it. You heard him. So, but yeah, maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Either way, if you guys don't write in with your stuff, we can't do it. We can't do a junk drawer if we don't have junk to drawer. We can't...
That's a sentence.
Yeah, that's right. There can't be a Tale of Two Wolves if there's no tail.
If we don't have enough tails.
Yeah, there's not enough tails.
The pin and tail and the donkey thing. We ran out of tails.
And donkeys.
And no, you got one sitting right across from you.
Oh!
Hey-oh!
Bird.
Hey-oh. Grib just like that one.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for today.
Oh, yeah.
And thank you all for listening, for sticking with us. You know how to help if you can. Please do. But on behalf of everyone here at Scratchin Wolf Studio, we want you to thank you for listening. You take care of yourselves. Tune in next time and keep howling. We'll see you.